We are live again. Welcome back to Jonesy Chats Wrestling. This is Raw Part 2. Sorry for the technical problems. I just want to get Steve's opinion on the last part. So thank you all for watching again. Thank you all for tuning in earlier as well. So just going to kind of go into it. So Steve, where we left off was, we're just talking about the Drew McIntyre Ricochet match. What were your kind of thoughts on the match?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good match. I remember messaging you and saying that, it lasted longer than Ricochet and Brock, because that was my fear. And then it ended 30 seconds later. So, I mean, the problem is that, I mean, Drew McIntyre's beaten all our favourite mid-carders. So, I mean, this is, again, another thing of why it's not really helping Drew McIntyre get over as a babyface at this point. You need heels to go against him, really. But, I mean, Ricochet was the one that stepped up, and you want to see him have a good account of himself, not be defeated in 2.5 minutes.
I thought it was okay. At least he got some time. It's great to see him get that time. But I think trying to get him over, losing to Drew, he couldn't beat Drew, so it was a crazy kind of move. What did you think of Ali coming back and doing the attack after? First time we've seen Ali since Fastlane.
Yeah, I was surprised because I heard he was injured, so I was surprised he'd come in and made the attack here. And I mean, I was happy with the first match as well. I just wish it went a bit longer. I thought the chemistry between the two was amazing. Ricochet being thrown around the ring, but I thought also that Ali, I mean, he wanted that moment. He was going to take MVP up on Lashley's, on his invite there to go and get that WrestleMania match, and that really fits the Mustafa Ali character. So yeah, I mean, it did make sense. But again, Drew McIntyre winning, beating another of these up-and-coming mid-carders, people that we could hope to see get more TV time and get over. It's probably not the best method to get Drew McIntyre as the strong babyface going to the pay-per-view, but at least this time, Mustafa Ali is a heel.
Definitely. Going to go to the comments. We've got Steve there. Where does Ricochet go from here? I would say that he hopefully will get more bookings on WTV, I would hope. What's your thoughts, Steve?
I would like to see him have more of a prominent role in WWE TV. Like I say, the US title picture seems like it's got a division if WWE wants to use it. I'd love to see Ricochet a part of it. I think he could offer a lot, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, it's great to see him in a main event match on Monday Night Raw. I mean, we shouldn't really complain. He spent a lot of time recently on main event, and I don't watch main events. That means I just don't see Ricochet. No. So, I mean, for me, where does he go from here? I was hoping he was going to join the Hurt Business in a new reformed Hurt Business. I thought maybe that's what the direction was going to be, but sadly that wasn't to be.
Definitely. So we obviously had Ali and Drew McIntyre. So not a bad match. Obviously does what it needs to do. Didn't last very long. Ali obviously getting pinned there. Were you a fan of Ali getting pinned? It made sense, didn't it? 100%.
Yeah, I mean, there was only one result that could happen. If someone beat Drew McIntyre this close to WrestleMania, it's not a good thing. So Drew had to win.
Definitely. Going to kind of go now sort of to the last segment. So obviously get Drew there. He's raving like a lunatic. He shouts at Bobby Lashley. Lashley comes out. And then from nowhere, we get the Baron Corbin from SmackDown turn up. As I said earlier to the video, I think you missed this part, Steve, that I was just disgusted. It's almost like transfer deadline day. People can change brands. No explanation. You've got rid of the Hurt Business to replace him with Baron Corbin. This is the same Baron Corbin that has been trading wins and losses with Mysterios. What an underwhelming acquisition, I think, for sort of Raw. What's your thoughts of this?
Yeah, it was very confusing. I mean, obviously, I didn't try to come away from the stream earlier on, but unfortunately I did. But I think many people came away from Raw the second this happened. So, no, I mean, for me, it's great to see Corbin doing something. Look, I'm not the biggest Corbin fan. I'm not his biggest advocate. But to see him have some sort of prominent role on TV, he's not doing a lot on SmackDown. He could come in, and to be a middle person in a stable, I suppose it makes sense. It can add up. But for me, when you have the Hurt Business, you had it as it was before. That was working. It wasn't great. And I wasn't a fan of seeing the fact that they've made this change. Here's two methods, if you don't mind, George. It will probably take me about a minute or so, a minute and a half to get through.
No rush. Go for it.
There's a pro and there's a con with this. The con, obviously, we've not got the Hurt Business. And the thing is, if we were going to get reformed Hurt Business, this was the idea that I would have loved to have seen, but of course we didn't get. Samoa Joe wasn't on commentary on this week on Raw. MVP was there the whole night. Wouldn't it have been great if Samoa Joe was really there to come back in ring and to be a part of the Hurt Business? Almost like their beat down clan of Impact Wrestling, and MVP was covering him the whole night because he knew Samoa Joe was coming in. That I would have loved to have seen. And if you added Ricochet to the mix, I would have turned around and said, you know what, it's a new Hurt Business, it's different, but do you know what? There is a chance that this could be an improved Hurt Business and you can make actual real stars out of everybody in this stable. I'd have loved to have seen that. I would have said, do you know what happened earlier night, I can forgive it. But we didn't get that. We got King Corbin. And here's the reason I think we've got it. And this is what I think is disappointing, is that WWE has a plan. They have a method of what they're going to do for WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre is getting his moment in front of fans, whether people like it or not. The Hurt Business were not meant to get over the way they've got over. Fans are cheering for him too much and they're too happy that they've got this moment. And WWE have gone, whoa, this isn't what we want. Drew's going to get booed here. We don't want this. How can we make this less cool? Let's break up the Hurt Business. Let's get it done now, not after WrestleMania. And what can we do to make people boo the Hurt Business? Who don't they like? Well, The Miz is tied up with Bad Bunny. We can't do that. Let's go and bring Baron Corbin over from SmackDown. And that's what their plan is. They want us to turn around and say, oh, no, this is awful, because we're all saying it's awful. But they go, this is our plan, because Drew's going to win at WrestleMania. And they're going to go, oh, thank goodness, he beat Bobby Lashley. And that horrible stable with Baron Corbin in it, that they broke up, they've messed it up. They needed him to lose the title. And Drew McIntyre can go off to face whoever in the rest of the calendar year as we go into the summer. I think that's what their thinking is here.
Definitely. I think the thing with it is it just felt so underwhelming with it for me. I just think it didn't really work. And I think the fact that you're doing this, the payoff, as I said, is probably not going to be that good. But for me, interesting this week with Bobby Lashley, he's a total heel this week, whereas the last 2 weeks he's been booked as a babyface. Did you notice that transition to a heel again this week?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he's been facing heels, and like you say, it's hard to work out. I mean, when he won the championship, it was definitely presented as a babyface. There was no question about it. The week after with The Miz, then the match with Sheamus, when he had those couple of weeks, it was kind of that tweener, kind of going back to the heel kind of role. Last week, you knew that he'd gone back to being the full-on heel, and this week, like you say, he was full-on heel again. There was no mistaking what Lashley's going to be going into this match. He's the monster, the heel, who he should have been all along, to be brutally honest here. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting how they're going to do, because he's not got the same intensity that he had when he won the championship already, which makes me think that WWE is going to continue to drop that momentum and give the belt over to McIntyre. Okay,
just before we end the show, do you want to give a final thoughts and score of the show this week? I'll let you go first.
Unfortunately for WrestleMania this time of year, I'm going to give a shout out to DWE very quickly, because he put on a great tweet yesterday saying that people are being, a lot of negativity to WWE, and, we should give them a bit of benefit of the doubt, obviously the time period we've got and stuff like that. And I do agree with it to a degree, because we've had wrestling over the last year where a lot of things have stopped. The world has not been able to do things as normal. WWE has given us something. So yeah, we should be happy we're getting something, but this isn't good, and this is going to make a lot of people want to turn the TV off, unfortunately. This is why WWE is getting a lot of the criticism they are, unfortunately. So for me, I'm giving this a 3 out of 10. This is on par as bad as Legends Night at the start of the year. This, unfortunately, is not the booking we want going into WrestleMania. This is, unfortunately, for people that's been there for a long time, we'll suffer with it. But for people that are coming, giving this a chance, they're going away and they're not coming back.
I to be fair, I admire DW. That's a great channel. Check it out. It's very positive. There's nothing wrong with being a positive person, but for me, I'm not going to insult anybody. But I just think it was a joke. I think everybody I've spoken to hates the show. WrestleMania is less than 2 weeks away. We should be excited. This is the most exciting time to be a wrestling fan. Yet I'm so unenthused going into WrestleMania now because of this show. I think the thing with it is just an absolute shambles in terms of the score. For me, I'm not going to go 1 out of 10 because the Bad Bunny video was hilarious. So I'm going to go 2 out of 10. It did what it needed to do to certain stuff, but it's so basic and it's so lazy. And they had a great opportunity here to rebuild a stable on Raw, which they didn't do this week for me, which was a total missed opportunity, really. The fact we've got no stables in WWE at the moment, and they've got rid of the only one they've got, and they've replaced it with just one wrestler. Just total shambles, really. Have you got to finish up before we go to sort of the final comments and end the video?
Just to say, yeah, I hope that I wasn't coming across as negative to anyone else, because obviously I think DW does a great channel. I love his positivity. It's amazing. That was not a reflect on him. I was just using that tweet as to say that I think I agree with what he's saying, but what WWE gave us this week is a reason why I think people are giving it the negative reaction of what they're getting. So, no, I totally am in camp DWE. I think people should be positive and should be thankful for what we're getting, because we not necessarily should be getting what we're getting right now with a lot of things in the world, whether it's theatre, going to the movies, even seeing our friends in a lot of places and going to work. A lot of people can't do it. So we have to be grateful that we've got professional wrestling right now. And I think DW does a great channel. But as final thoughts of everything, I just hope that we've got 3 shows now to WrestleMania, SmackDown twice, Raw once. Let's just hope that they can put something together, because after this week, I mean, last week's TV, despite being panic, was all right. This Raw, unfortunately, just was really not.
Definitely going to go to the comments now. Kobe talks. I think this quality of TV, especially for WrestleMania, is trash. Yeah, it's not the best. I'll give you that, Kobe. Very hard to watch. If we put it in context, so anybody here that's in the United Kingdom, I know you're in Europe as well, Steve. So for us to watch this show live, we would have had to watch it at 1 o'clock in the morning and be going to bed at 4 a.m. If I watched this live, I'd be absolutely probably frothing the mouth and cursing now. I was that disappointed by it, that despondent. And one of them things, going to quickly go to the last 2 comments I've got here. I've got Steve here. What about the Go Home show being recorded? Could be saved by pre-recorded shows. I agree. They're panicking because of the license at the Performance Center is coming up, apparently. So they're just trying to get as much done in quick time to sort of film back to back, really, which is maybe why the show was so bad. And go to the last one, Leroy Torres. It's truly is garbage. Thank you, creative. Laughed out loud. Yeah, no, I agree. I think the creative is lazy. Vince McMahon can't decide what he wants to do, and I think it's one of the things. I can only hope we come out of WrestleMania and we know exactly kind of where it is. But I know one thing for sure: I'm much more excited about this NXT show, Stand and Deliver, than I am about WrestleMania. I don't know if that's controversial, but do you feel the same or do you disagree?
I mean, NXT always knocks it out of the park, don't they? They find a way to do it. I mean, the thing is, with some of the build up for NXT, some of that feels a bit rushed as well. But I mean, the stuff that they do a lot of the time is simple but effective. WWE does simple, but unfortunately, it stays at simple.
Perfect. Just going to sort of, before we end the video, tell everybody in the comments, Steve, about your fantastic channel and stuff you got coming up.
I appreciate it as always. SCW the Wrestling Channel on the road to 1K. I think we're just over 55 away or something like that as last time I checked. So really do appreciate everyone's support. If they go over and check over the channel, videos being given to you as often as I can. I've done the last 3 days. We've got the why WrestleMania. I think it will be good. Actually, I think the show will be decent. So go and check it out. Will WrestleMania be good? Latest Q&A is available, and of course a little bit of a celebration to Rob Van Dam going to Hall of Fame as well. More videos will be dropping through the week, but of course today we'll have a bit of a rest day as I've come here to come and give you some support here on Jonesy.
Thank you. Yeah, so content from me, I'm actually going to have a break this weekend for once, so I won't be doing SmackDown, but I will be back next Tuesday with Steve, and we'll be covering sort of WWE Raw. I need a break before WrestleMania. Next week's going to be crazy. The amount of videos probably will be dropping and stuff like that. It's kind of one of them things. I think I'm pretty sure that you need a break from wrestling as well, Steve.
I mean, the thing is, you say that, but there's so much content to be keeping up with at the moment. And of course, it just never stops. And it's going to be a big week. I mean, let's not forget, I mean, for someone that's like AEW, Impact, I still haven't had a chance to watch Ring of Honor's 19th anniversary show. So there's a lot to happen. I mean, Impact's got Hard Justice on the same day as WrestleMania. It's so much stuff. And unfortunately, sometimes it becomes quantity over quality in places. But where there's the good, I find the good and I will enjoy it. And yeah, like you say, there's not so much room for a respite right now, but certainly maybe just after Mania, there'll be a little break there because it's going to be a big week ahead.
Definitely. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for tuning into part 2. Sorry about the technical problems, but no, it's been great to have you here. Thank you all for the comments. Thank you for the recent subs. I believe we're now over 100 subs, so thank you very, very much. I really, really appreciate all the support and comments. And yeah, you've been watching Jonesy Chats Wrestling. We'll be back next Tuesday to cover Raw. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And yeah, thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.